committee members and guests to the Committee on Student Affairs and Special Programs. Everyone should have some form of electronic device to access the agenda and other supporting documents for this meeting. There are 10 copies of the agenda and supporting documents on the table if you don't have paperless access at this time. There are 2 action items and 2 information items. The first of the action items, of course, is may I have a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you very much. It passes. The second item on the agenda is the approval of the amendments of the Brooklyn College Auxiliary Enterprise Incorporation. And Frank, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. So the CUNY Board of Trustees approved the original bylaws of the Brooklyn College Auxiliary Enterprise Corporation back in June 6th, 1996. No changes to the bylaws have been approved by the board since that time. The auxiliary has determined that it is in its best interest to make certain that changes to the bylaws to better meet its needs. In accordance with Board Bylaws Section 16.10, the amended bylaws of the auxiliary have been approved by the Brooklyn College President and reviewed by the University Office of the General Counsel. The auxiliary will retain its board structure of 11 members composed of the Brooklyn College President or his or her designee as chair, 5 students, 3 administrators, and 2 faculty members. The president of Brooklyn College seeks the board approval of these amended bylaws. The amended bylaws are consistent with the board bylaws.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. Are any discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, that carries. On to our informational items. Tonight, we have Mr. Farouk Abdullah, Deputy Director of the New York Public Interest Research Group, who will present the 2013-2014 NIPERG report for us.
He is not
He is not
here.
here?
He's outside the door.
Okay,
Alright.
can you get Farouk Abdullah for the
NIPERG?
NIPERG?
Okay, will you get it?
It's out there.
Hello, welcome. Mr. Abdullah, you are up.
Oh, great. Is it right here? It's fine?
Yes? Please make sure it's
Make sure you don't black and white.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
for coming.
Thank you for having me. My name is Farouk Abdallah. I am NIPERG's Deputy Director. I'm joined here with some of our students from some of our chapters. NIPERG, for people who are new or may not be familiar with us, stands for the New York Public Interest Research Group. NIPERG is a statewide student-directed, non-for-profit organization with chapters at colleges and universities throughout the state, including 9 here at CUNY. CUNY students learn to become active members of their communities through NIPERG's education and training program. Education takes place through a formal, structured trainings through continual hands-on experience in activism and advocacy. Students working with NIPERG have an opportunity to develop skills that complement their classroom experience, such as writing news releases, speaking in front of large groups. This hands-on approach teaches students to be active, to teach active civic skills to broaden their education and involve them in the democratic process. We are happy to present our report. It details all our activities on our 9 CUNY schools. You see it's very thick. We try to be thorough. Instead of going through all 900 pages, I thought maybe I could just highlight a few things.
Please.
Literally.
Okay.
Literally.
You want to go to We'll order a pizza. It'll be great. One of the things that NIPERG firmly believes in is voter registration. And I know this is something that CUNY also believes in. USS also believes in where we are a part of CUNY Votes. And with the help of the voter registration coordinators on the campuses, and with the staff of the Office of Student Life, and with USS, during the presidential elections, NYPIRG registered 11,500 CUNY students to vote. But registering students was only half the job for us, because if they don't go out and vote, it doesn't really do us a lot of good. So in the weeks leading up to the elections, NYPIRG students worked in organizing different activities to help encourage students to vote, to educate them on what was on the ballot, not who to vote for, but like ways to look for information so they can make informed decisions. So we set up information tables across campus, did countless classroom presentations provided by professors, and then the night before the election, we ran a phone bank where we called hundreds of students to remind them that it was the election day the next day, and also assist them in finding their polling spots. And then on the day of course, we went around, chalked the classrooms, spoke to students in the hallways and the classrooms to remind them, and don't forget to vote. We also run a voter helpline the day of the election, where students or community members, if they have any kind of problems or if they have any questions on the day of voting, they can call us, and then we can help them. Another thing that I'd like to highlight is our internship program. It's really where students learn these hands-on activities, and something that we partner up with the schools. And last year, at our 9 chapters, we had 166 interns. The internship program, students work on a wide range of activities and wide range of skills, whether it's writing for the media, news releases, letters to the editor, public speaking, time management, persuasive speaking, research, advocacy, are all things that they learn. We had weekly classes, weekly workshops with the interns. And the interns themselves, they plan projects, they lead projects, and that's how they help develop their skills. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, that really was brief. Wow, 900 pages. Okay.
I have
Any questions? Yes.
a few things. First of all, I'm very familiar with NYPIRG and the work that it's done throughout the years. In fact, if my recollection is correct, President Obama also worked with NYPIRG here at CUNY.
That's right.
And so a number of people don't realize that particular piece of information.
That's right. President Obama's first job in politics was with NYPIRG,
Exactly.
working as a campus organizer at City College.
Exactly.
We found some more stuff with his name on it. So we got excited about that, and we spoke to the person who supervised him. And the way she tells it was that when he said that he was moving to Chicago, she literally begged him to stay. And she literally begged him to stay, and he says that's where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, as they say. But he still remembers us, and he ran into one of our people, and he said, for quote, "I used to be a PIRG guy. You guys trained me well."
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Regardless of what you think of his policies, it will always be a source of pride for us.
Mr. Dollar, would you? Oh,
No.
Jason.
I was going to ask another question.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. One of the things that I like to ask NYPIRG, especially given the long history that the organization has, and so when you look at the last election, not the presidential election, but the election in between,
Yeah.
what is NYPIRG doing to raise the activity in between and also awareness that individuals need to vote in between? Because this is an endemic problem. It's not new. It's not a new issue. It was more severe, this last election. But individuals need to be educated on why voting doesn't matter what party you're voting for. You need to participate. That's one of the benefits of the American system. And what's so disappointing is that given that individuals have this benefit, they're not using it.
Yeah.
And so what I want to know is what is NIPERG doing to increase awareness in those slump periods, so that way there's a more even participation in every single election, not just in national,
Yeah.
but also in local, and understanding the role that localities play in the activities of everyday life. In fact, this one else comment. If you look at some of the issues that have been taking place, Ferguson and all of that, so I always wonder how many people are participating in the electoral process. It's important for individuals to express their concern in a number of different ways, but if you do it just in like an emotional fashion that's episodic, as opposed to something that's more enduring, then you aren't participating in the full realm of American political life the way you should in order to impact individuals and laws that are taking place. So what is NIPERGS? I kind of throw this on you because
Yeah.
you have a lot of experience with this, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Do you agree or disagree? You're okay. It's
Well-
okay for you just to do that, but
No, there's always certainly a dip in voter turnout. I mean, voter turnout, especially for young people, especially for college students, something that we're very concerned with. And one of the things that we tell students is that there are two rules to politics, right? For elected official. First rule is to get elected, and then the second rule is to get reelected, right? So the only way to make that, no matter how much money you have or what kind of influence you have, the only way that person gets their job is if people go out and they vote for them. So this is something that's always, whether it's our environmental campaign, higher education, consumer, all the stuff that we do, they will tell you voter registration is always a big part of that. I like to tell the story that when I was a student at Brooklyn College, first got involved in NIPERG, we went to Albany to talk to our legislators about some higher education issues that we were concerned with. The first legislator that we met with, the first thing she said was, "I want you to write your name and your addresses on this piece of paper." She came back and she said, "You're registered to vote. You're registered to vote. You're not. You're not. You're not. I don't need to listen to you three." And it was for me as 18 years old, it was a very powerful lesson. She was also trying to teach us a lesson too, which I appreciate. But that voting is the most direct way people can participate in our democracy. The most direct way. And people, they have to understand whether it's taxes or childcare or everything from the moment you're born to the moment you die, it's legislated. And we do our best to educate students on that. We and it's always part of like what we do, and we try. I mean, we work very closely with all the student life offices, because obviously it's something that CUNY is deeply concerned with. USS too. These guys do great work on there. We make videos. We we work with the faculty. We go do classroom presentation. And we do our best, but it's a hard thing, because it's something that we're trying to figure out ourselves.
Any other questions? All right. Mr. Abdullah, could you just introduce your team?
Oh, good. You guys want to introduce yourselves and what school?
and what your major is?
I'm Brenton Ruiz. I go to Queens College, and my major is early childhood education.
I'm Ariba Sabur from Hunter College, and my major is biology.
My name is Derek Fignelli. I go to Queens College. My major is urban studies.
My name is Sherrod Staten. I'm a writing literature major, and I go to Birmingham Community College.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very
Can I add
good.
a comment?
Yeah, sure.
As a student who attends a school that has an IPO chapter, I'm really appreciative of what they do on campus. You see them every day almost, having a table, a desk, in the common areas, going throughout campus and trying to get students to register to vote, doing the class wraps they do. It's getting students more aware of what's going on locally and statewide, and also federal positions. So again, thank you for NIPER, and hopefully we can see more NIPER chapters throughout CUNY.
You know, the question that you raised regarding their participation, and I was glad that the chair asked the individuals to introduce themselves. And so the question that it brings me to is, what college has the strongest participation in NIPERG, and which one has the weakest?
You put me on the spot here with our students. You know, they're all active, and
That's not a diagnostic, I mean, yeah, I think it's important because as trustees, what we want to know is, the reason why this report is important to us is because we really want to understand. And so if there are things that need to be done differently, so that way we can increase participation, it goes to my previous question, you know, in terms of participation overall. So I will ask you, I mean, and you're not subject to anything here, so you can be, speak as a free agent. So where would you say it's strongest and where is it weakest?
I mean, it's. I don't look at it as individual schools. I look at it as like a system. You know, sometimes people say students are apathetic, and I say go to any CUNY school, and you'll see that it's not the case. Students care, and you know if they're not involved in NIPERG, they're involved with the USS, or they're involved with the Black Students Union, or they're involved with a fraternity, or there's so many different things that students can become involved with. You know, we were started by CUNY students at Queens College, and BMCC is our newest chapter. It's funny they're sitting in that order. You know, and it's hard to say who's more. I mean, there's some schools that only have 5,000 or 6,000 students, and there are some schools like BMCC. What are you guys up to now? Like almost 25,000 students. Yeah.
So basically, we have to read the report.
Well, I guess I would add, Mr. Abdallah and I, over the last, I'd say 4 years since I've been here, have talked about a variety of strategies of how we can engage our vice presidents, our directors of student life, so that we can do a better job aligning what NIPERG's doing with students alongside what's happening in student life. One of the things we want to try to avoid is some of the duplication. So there's, a central or a student life office doing a program on voter registration the same day that, NIPERG's doing a program on voter registration. If we can bring the two offices together and kind of partner a little bit better, I think that in the end might get better student turnout. And I think the messaging that happens out on our campuses can be much stronger for our students. So we've talked about some of those. In fact, I've had opportunities to present in front of our Vice President's Council.
That's good. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Abdallah? Hearing none, thank you so much for your report, and thank you for your work.
Much for
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure.
All right, we're going to move on to the Vice Chancellor's report. Vice Chancellor
Thank you.
Sanchez.
Thank you. As you might recall, at our last meeting, we had a number of hearings, and so my report was pushed back. So it may be a little bit longer than typical, but I think a number of these items are very important for the committee to hear. In September, Governor Cuomo signed an executive order to establish an employment first policy for New York, which makes competitive integrated employment the first option when considering supports and services for people with disabilities. The initiative aims to increase the employment rate and decrease the poverty rate for New Yorkers who are receiving services from the state, as well as register 100 businesses as having formal policies to hire people with disabilities as part of their workforce strategy. In support of this executive order, our CUNY Leads program has closely collaborated with CUNY HR to establish a formal process by which as many as 300 CUNY positions may be earmarked to be filled by otherwise qualified candidates with disabilities. Of course, it is our hope that many of these earmarked positions will be filled by our graduates of the CUNY Leads program. CUNY is serving as one of the lead entities of the Mayor's Office 8825 Committee, which is planning a month-long series of high-profile events in July to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disability Act. The celebration will highlight CUNY's key role as a hub of disability scholarship, education, art, and culture in New York City. University Student Senate and Malave Leadership Academy student volunteers will work closely with the organizers of the New York State Association of Black and Puerto Rican Legislators 44th Annual Legislative Conference in Albany this February 13th through the 15th. Volunteers will play key roles in caucus logistics and hospitality. I want to recognize USS. I know just in the last 2 years, our USS leadership has become much more actively involved in the caucus proceedings. Prior to that, while the students participated in a lot of the forums, they weren't as active in actually helping the conference move forward. So it's great to see our USS leadership visible throughout those proceedings. I also wanted to recognize that our Board of Trustees passed Article 15 amendments and incorporated Title IX requirements, and I particularly wanted to recognize our student leadership, in particular Joseph Waji and Lucas Amante, for your leadership and your testimony and really your guidance on this important policy. I think this article is much stronger because the student voice was heard in this. I thank you for being a part of that process. Our staff, of course, will be trained on the protocol and roles and responsible employees as related to the policy. I have notified all the vice presidents of student affairs that they are responsible for meeting state and federal regulation, that all incoming students, including transfer students, receive extensive information about the sexual misconduct policy, definitions of sexual misconduct, consent, and also how and who to report an incident to. All educational sessions should be documented with the date and the number of participants. On our veterans front, this month our central office has been working closely with our Committee on Veteran Affairs, our President's Committee on Veteran Affairs, and we'll be sending out to all the presidents and deans a memo from the Council of Presidents Veterans Committee requesting an update on the status of the Veterans Task Force recommendations. In fact, I finalized the draft today and will be sending out this week. On the athletics front, I'm delighted to extend everyone an invitation to attend the 2015 Winter CUNY Athletic Conference Championships, which are swimming, basketball, indoor track and field, and cheerleading. These tournaments will take place at various locations, will continue from February 6th through March 12th of this year. This year marks the 50th anniversary of our men's basketball championships and the 35th anniversary of our women's basketball championships, both presented by and sponsored by the U.S. Army ROTC. The basketball championships, which will take place at the City College of New York Nate Holman Gymnasium. The finals will be held on Friday, February 27th, where I'm hopeful that you can also attend the CCNY join CCNY President Lisa Steino-Koiko reception for the participants and visiting dignitaries. The President's reception will take place at the Marshak Science Building Cafe, Street Nicholas Terrace, right after the Women's Basketball Championship at 6 p.m. to 8 and before the men's finale at 8:30. Additionally, the Borough of Manhattan Community College will be hosting the Community College Finals on Friday, February 20th from 6 to 8:30 with the BMCC President Antonio Perez hosting similar reception between the two games. On January 15th, the Eastern College Athletic Conference, the ECAC, Board of Directors adopted an inclusive sports strategy that will provide new intercollegiate athletic opportunities for student athletes with a variety of disabilities attending EAC member colleges and universities in Division 1, 2, and 3. By taking this pioneering action, the ECAC becomes the first NCAA-sanctioned conference to provide a range of options for students with disabilities to realize their dreams of competing as intercollegiate varsity athletes. Our own CUNY Athletic Conference Commissioner, Zach Ivkovich, serves as the chair of the ECAC's Committee on Inclusive Intercollegiate Athletics and played a key role in the historic adoption of this inclusive sports model. On Thursday, February 19th, the City University of New York Athletics Conference, along with the U.S. Army ROTC, will be hosting the CUNYAC Basketball All-Star Luncheon to celebrate the beginning of the 50th annual CUNYAC basketball championships at the Water Club in Manhattan. We are also going to be honoring the two winningest coaches over the last 50 years. In Ray Almobert of Hunter, he won 6 men's CUNY championships, and Macaulay Joseph of Baruch, who won 6 women's CUNY championships. Congratulations to those individuals. And finally, we have partnered with the Congressional Award and the National Director, Erica Whelan, to promote the Congressional Award among our students. So many of our students already are involved in service and physical education and experiential learning opportunities, and those happen to be the criteria in order to receive a Congressional Service Award. And so we're working with all the directors of student life to promote this more broadly, as we believe many of our students could qualify in the number of hours that they follow in order to get this award. And so this is a new initiative that we're pushing out among both the vice presidents of student affairs and the directors of student life across the system. Madam Chairperson, this concludes my report.
Thank you very much. A report well worth the wait. Are there any questions?
Great work being done.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, and that adjourns this meeting.
Thank you. Well done.